Are you with the deceased now, sir? I am the deceased! Excuse me? How you like that?
You should never use wallpaper, and this is why. 15-year-old Nicole had just moved into a brand new house. She was shocked to find her room completely covered in moldy wallpaper and was forced to remove it. But as she tore off the wallpaper, she made a shocking discovery. Every corner of the wall had a written name and date underneath it. That night, curiosity got the best of her and she decided to search up the names of the people on the wall. Every name and date lined up with real missing people, and she called 911 immediately. The cops immediately rushed over and an investigation began. They discovered what was on her wall was not wallpaper. It was actually human skin.
Police received a call about someone hearing a gunshot and then having a monster try getting into their apartment. But what police saw when they got there is terrifying, and of course I'm explaining it all in one part, so keep up. Once the people that called 911 managed to kick out the monster from their apartment, they started to hear screams from down the hall. Monster was trying to get into the other apartments. And that's when police started getting tons of calls from the same building. But what police saw when they got there was even worse than they thought. You see, this monster was another resident of the building, and he had sadly just tried to commit suicide. He put the shotgun in his mouth, but the angle was wrong. He shot off his jaw and half of his nose. And he was trying to get help from the other residents who were just terrified at what they saw. And unfortunately, he didn't make it.
This story's called The Gnome, and as you'll see at the end, not even the police know why she removed what she did before putting them in the garden. Patty was 71, a mother of 2 and a grandmother of 5. But Patty's love was for her garden. Her neighbours even said she was always out there, like digging and making the garden beautiful. And every year, Patty won first prize for the best garden in the town. She'd won for the last 15 years, and every year she put a new gnome in her garden. It's kind of like a trophy. But unfortunately for Patty, this was her last year, because a little over a year ago, Patty broke her neck when she fell down her own garden stairs. It was like the biggest funeral the town had ever had. But no more than a year later, her children sold her house to a developer, and he demolished it to build townhouses. But it was only a few weeks later, Patty's garden was again the talk of the town. You see, they found body after body when they started to dig up the ground. 15 in fact, all between the ages of 5 to 8. They found them all to be poisoned. They all had their hearts removed.
What's up? These are some signs that your house may be haunted. The first one's going to be that a child is talking to an identified spirit. Now, children's imagination can run pretty wild, but if you've already ruled out the possibility of it being an imaginary friend, they're definitely more susceptible than you are to be talking to a ghost because they have the mindset of anything is possible, so they won't really think about it that much. Alright, the next sign's going to be if you hear unidentifiable noises in your home. Now, obviously, people can make noises and you may not even know that they made that noise, but if you're dealing with spirits and you hear a loud clack or bang, it's usually a spirit known as a poltergeist, and they will slam and knock on doors and make any loud noise to try to scare you out of your own home. Don't let them. Alright, the next thing is going to be smelling an unusual scent in your home. Now, obviously, there could be a dead animal under your house, or there could be trash that just needs to be taken out. But if it isn't any of these two things, you might want to look into it, because a very common way that ghosts identify that they are in your home is by smell, whether that be the scent of cigars or perfume. They're trying to get the same smell that they had when they were alive.
Possessed people caught on camera, part 3. If you guys like these videos and want to see more, be sure to like and follow.
Sir? Excuse me, sir? Going to burn like everyone else. Sir? Just like this song. What the fuck? Sir, are you okay? Sir.
Terrifying things that our own government did to us in our past. Here we go. Starting in 1953, the CIA illegally experimented on US and Canadian citizens. The project was called MK Ultra, or Operation Mind Control. The government recruited over 80 institutions and over 150 researchers to do their dirty work for them. They were using biological and chemical agents on their participants, but the worst of all was the LSD experiments. They would use prisoners, mental patients, and even drug addicts for these experiments. This scene in Stranger Things is actually taken from the MK Ultra experiments, where one patient was given LSD for 174 days in a row. Heroin, morphine, alcohol, marijuana were all used as well. They say that the experiments lasted all the way until 1973. Some people, like Ken Kesey, actually volunteered for this, which led to the electric Kool-Aid acid tests in the 1960s with the
Curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 18. A man from Queens once spent 5 months in jail completely unaware that his bail was just $2. Since spiders molt, when you see what you might think is a dead spider, it could just be that the spider left behind its exoskeleton and is now bigger than before. Dr. Seuss cheated on his wife while she had cancer, and then she proceeded to commit suicide. Almost everyone on Earth is walking around with a bunch of poop inside of them. Scientists accidentally killed the world's oldest living animal, which was a clam that lived to be 507 years old. Statistically speaking, at least one person who comments on this video will not be alive tomorrow. The real reason you shouldn't eat raw cookie dough isn't because of getting sick from eating raw eggs. It's because you shouldn't eat raw flour, which contains fecal matter from all the birds flying over the field and pooping on the wheat.
Sí, no manches. Sí. Sí. ¡Verga!
What's up? These are scary facts about our world that you probably didn't want to know. Part 26. Sometimes after people suffer from strokes, they will develop something known as prosopagnosia, where they will not have the ability to recognize anyone's face. It will all be a blur. No family member, no best friend, nothing. There is a location in Venezuela where lightning strikes 280 times an hour, 160 nights out of the year, and it is known as Catatumbo lightning. In North Korea, marijuana is actually legal and isn't even classified as a drug. I probably shouldn't have told you guys that. Fred Bauer, who was the man who designed and patented the Pringles cans, was actually buried by his children inside of a Pringles can. Imagine someone dug it up and put it on a shelf and you bought that and ended up getting someone's ashes. Oh, that'd be terrifying. A while ago, there was a design known as baby cages where you would place a cage outside of your balcony window and place your baby in it if it needed fresh air. Yeah, why would you do that? I don't know.
This kid went hitchhiking, but what he saw on TV years later will shock you. In the early 70s, a college student decided to hitchhike his way home after class. A man pulled up and offered him a ride, so he decided to get in. As soon as the car started moving, the student felt very uneasy. He couldn't tell what it is, but something just wasn't right. Without saying anything, he waited till the car slowed down and jumped out the window onto the side of the road. 2 years later, the man is flicking through TV channels when he comes across an interview with a death row inmate. But it's just the audio recording, and the interviewer asks, "Why did you remove all your door handles inside of your car?" And he goes, "Well, the first time I tried to kill someone, it was a college student who was hitchhiking, but he got smart and jumped out the car, so lesson learned, always remove the door handles." When he saw the pictures, the student knew immediately that he was supposed to be the first victim of John Wayne Gacy, aka the killer clown who murdered over 30 boys and stuffed them into his basement.
Hey guys, so today I really wanted to show you this ghost that my sister found in her Snapchat photo back in 2016. Her and her best friend went to this abandoned brickworks building in Ontario that was built in the early 1900s. The buildings were dusty and dark and there was graffiti everywhere, and my sister decided to take this Snapchat photo while they were there. Now, the ironic thing about the photo she took was that the caption was "No ghosts yet, LOL," because she did not see the ghost in the photo that she took. But if you look closely, standing in the back corner, there is this creepy figure with long white arms. You can see its head. It almost looks like it's wearing a black cloak. Now, about a year later, we went back there to explore, and it's such an eerie place to be and walk around. There's like red handprints all over the buildings. It definitely is an extremely dangerous place, so I would not recommend anyone going here.